What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. Where do all fights start? Round one. Let's get it popping, people. We have a lot to break down, a lot to discuss. Uh, we're a day away from Christmas, so I thought I'd hop on and, you know, talk a little bit of boxing before we get into the Christmas. What's up, brother? How you doing? Uh, Great Gumbo, how you doing in the building? So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Don't forget to give these videos a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And like always, let's get into this video. So what's up, guys? How you guys doing out there tonight? Waiting for Santa Claus to come up in that house. You know what I'm saying? Fucking get that bag, son. Break yourself, fool. Yo, run that. I know you got that choo-choo in that bag. You ain't choo-choo train. You ain't never brought me. You know, the one with the silver tracks and the little light smoke coming out. You know what I mean? He ain't never brought that to me. I'm about to get him for that choo-choo train. Break yourself, fool. Yo, listen. So I'm definitely gonna have to get him for those cookies tonight. Absolutely. You know what I mean? While we creep down the steps and put the gifts under the tree. You know what I mean? Because we know who the real Santa Claus is. But although I give my daughter the gift and she's like, Santa Claus is the best. And I'm looking at her like this, like, what you mean Santa Claus? Like, I want to be right there in the moment. You ain't no Santa Claus. I bought that shit. Like, you know what I mean? But you gotta let the kids' imagination play in, and it's good in a way. You know, sometimes you can get them to do something you want when you say Santa Claus is watching. I'm about to pull that letter. You know what I mean? Until they get too old, where they're looking at you like, please, Santa Claus, please. I wish my daughter stood young forever, but she's growing up fast. So, I hope you guys are having a great, Christmas and whatever it is, whatever your situation is, make the best of it. Make the best of it. Hey. But what's up, guys? How you doing, Carlos? In the building. What's up? Thank you. Absolutely. Feliz Navidad to you too, brother. Um, well, we got some, fights coming on to end the year and to start the year. There are a lot of headlines we saw. We've been seeing this whole Devin Haney situation unfold. Boy, my man can't win, huh? Devin can't win. He get out of one thing and just hop right into the next. My man just jumped right out of frying pan straight into the fryer. Like, damn, bro. I feel bad for the young man. And then, because I know how it is to be a fighter and all you really want to do is just fight. Devin Haney kind of backed himself into this, you know, he wanted to give the persona that he was that star and that fighter. And by doing so, he opened the door to hundreds of fans to, because at the time, Devin Haney was riding on a high. He was the undisputed world champion of the world. And, you know, things were coming fast for him. He made title defenses on it. And the one thing is good that Devin Haney did defend all four belts. He can go down in history as successfully defending all four belts. You can't take that away from him. Then the man he defended the belts against was Lomachenko, the one and only two gold medalist, Loma. He put all the belts on the line and gave him an opportunity. So you have to admit that Devin Haney has done some shit. His career was, a little bit questionable. All fighters' careers are questionable, and they question the way he got the belts. And that was where the questioning came in. How'd you get the WBC title, Devin? How'd you get the 3 belts, Devin? So but it's what he did afterwards, and the way he beat Regis Progress like that, you know, uh, Regis Progress beat some worthy opponents, there were some guys that I thought that Progress looked pretty good his last fight, even though he lost the fight. I just think Jack Catterall was a little bit more patient, and Regis was a little bit more anxious. He played into his hand. And once Regis had scored that, the knockdown, he should have kind of let Jack start coming to him. Jack did, in fact, got him with a combination. Regis forgot what he was doing, and he continued to do what he thought was best because he had dropped him, and it just got worse for him in that fight. We saw how that played out. But my man Devin, man, poor dude, bro. Like, listen, you know, um, like I said it many times, Devin's fighting the wrong battle. He's fighting social media, people's comments, etc., etc. He seems to have too many things on his plate right now, Devin. Expecting a child too, and your first kid into this world. And his selection of woman, and my experience, for the most part, unfortunately, uh, the the first woman you have kids with sometimes doesn't be the one you end up with in life. Life is not a fairy tale when we used to sit down as children and say, hey, when I grow up, I'm gonna buy a house next to your house. We're gonna buy a matching car. Your girl's gonna be coming on my house, talking to my girl. And it's in our minds as children, we make up this life we wish we could achieve. And I bet you if by a chance of fate, destiny was to grant you that, you still wouldn't be happy. Humans are really never satisfied, are we? We don't truly know what we want. When you ask that girl, yo, I want to know, tell me how many times you been with him. Brother, I'm going to tell you from experience, you don't want to know the answer to that question. You don't want to know a lot of things, but yet you want to know. You think you want the answer. Sometimes it's best just walking away, and you could save yourself a lot of pain of thinking what she said back to you and allowing what she does as an individual with her body to affect you. It's like that kid that a friend of mine got a life sentence. He went and caught his girl cheating, went back and got a gun, shot the dude. My friend's in jail for the rest of his life. That guy's dead. He's in jail for the rest of his life. Who stood with the girl? Who wins? I know it's painful. I know it hurts. But a man has to know that in actuality, the only person that controls is the girl. I can spit game at a girl all day till she opens her legs. Then, unless I took it, right? Now that's a crime, but it's up to her. So technically, it's on her. If she wants to give that ear to that dude, if she was really your girl, I guess, she would have never gave him an ear, would she? She would have shot down everything he had to say. Why? Because it's up to her and her responsibility in the relationship. Wouldn't it be? Just like it would be mine. You think I don't get approached by girls, but I tell my girl every day, I'm a grown ass man. Sometimes I'm flattered, so I get indecent proposals. But would you think I've never experienced that in my life? You don't think I know how to deal with that? I know how to let a girl down with class, for respect for me, not only for me, but for her. Why? She walks out the house, says, "Oh, your man did this." How embarrassing. I'm not 17 no more. I'm not 24. I'm not even 34. Where that I took chances like that. Nowadays, it's like basically, yo, you want to rock with me into the end of time? We can. If you decide to get off this ride, it'll probably hurt me, but I'm prepared for that because life taught me that, right? So I watched the Devin Haney shit, and they like, nah, this shit wasn't even when she knew him. She went to visit Young Thug in another time. That all this other stuff still doesn't look good now, does it? Does it make Devin Haney feel any better as a man now? Does it? Whether or not they're twisting the story, we really don't know all the facts. I'm not sure he can walk out of his house today with her holding hands without cameras flashing and people asking stupid questions. That has to be tough, not only for him, but for his relationship. What does that do for you in your relation? Does it strain it or does it help it? You know, as a young man, man, I made a lot of mistakes. I picked a lot of wrong girls, and um, I had to realize that sometimes in my life, I did more for the other person, right? And they down me, right? And made me feel less than because maybe I wasn't to the best of my ability, right? Then you sit back and you gotta say to yourself, you gotta make a decision. Are you gonna stay believing in what their perception of you is? Long as their perception of you is not who you really believe you are, well then you gotta, you know. So Devin right now, he's going through it, man. This kid is going through it, man. He just gotta get back in that ring. He just really gotta get back in that ring and silence all these people. You know, he's probably training like I'm gonna end up killing somebody and they're not gonna be satisfied. I've been there in my life. I've been there. I've been there. You know, but it's weird how as an individual you can grab something to get motivation off to strive you to get better. A lot of these things could seem like a curse to Devin. It could be a blessing. It could really light a fire under his ass and set him on a path of complete dominance, of never giving them another opportunity of saying this about you. How far are you willing to go? Devin Haney has to really dig deep and decide to live a true warrior's lifestyle. The parties, the girls, the lamplight, that's all got to go. For as long as you're in the sport, you need to lock in. And I'm not saying in between fights, train like if you're preparing for a fight, because overtraining is a real thing. You don't want to overtrain, but you want to live a warrior's life. That means if you don't have a fight schedule, you're studying the art, watching old fights, watching better techniques, practicing on your form, staying in shape, running, jogging, jumping rope, everything, keeping your body at a high level. So when you get that phone call, you slide right into training camp on day one. You're not in training camp for the first 2 weeks trying to turn on the engine and trying to get it every day, trying to catch up. And man, training's been tough because I'm almost there. Man, listen, if you were in shape and you walked in day one, guess what happens on day one? You get to work on day one. And that's the thing about an athlete. An athlete forgets. They go out, get in their car, drink, smoke, bag a girl, whatever. They quickly forget how they got all of that. And the one thing is never to, lose focus. So I believe Devin Haney is a good fighter. Um, he's just in a bad situation, man, with everything, huh? The court case suing Ryan Garcia, the fight's decision, the O being overturned, the carnival punching the dude in the carnival. Uh, now his girlfriend, his father Bill at any given day. Um, it must feel like a lot. It really does. It must be overwhelming sometimes. Um, you know, but like I always said in this sport, it's a blood sport. And the good thing is, I believe that if David Haney comes back and gives us blood, good knockouts, they'll love him again. You know. So in other news, right? We got Tank Davis, my man. He's another one, huh? He's another one. Apparently, I guess the fight is canceled. Tank Davis tweeted out on X that the fight was canceled between him and Lamont Roach. Um, Funny thing is, Lamont Roach later on that day released a training video of him training and sparring. Like if he had no idea what the hell Tank Davis was talking about. So I started thinking maybe Tank is, trying to like push these guys to give him more money or something, or threatening to pull out in the fight himself, or maybe they weren't selling tickets. I don't know definitively what the problem is there, but I do know one thing, that Lamont Roach has no idea what the fuck Tank Davis is talking about. He just released a training footage and caption, getting ready for the fight, locking in type shit. And I'm like, when did this come out? The training today? And when did Tank's tweet come out? Earlier today. I'm like, who's not on the same page here? So I kind of think, well, then I kind of started thinking, right? I said to myself, what if Tank Davis is getting a lot of scrutiny and he just wants people to stop texting him about the fight? He says, okay, fight's canceled, right? But by doing so, you're just going to get more questions. You got people saying, yeah, fuck this fight. We didn't want to see it anyway. Then who are you going to get him to fight? Okay, so this is how you know, right? That, who canceled the fight, right? Okay. Let's say the cancellation came on Lamont Roach's side, right? Then they would get Tank Davis a late replacement. They got plenty of time. Why would the fight be canceled if Tank's going to get paid? We've been here before in boxing. All you do is go get a replacement. You got until March. You got plenty of time. This is not 10 days out from the fight, 2 weeks out from the fight. You got more than enough, right? But when you know that it's from the superstars fight side that's pulling out, the fight gets canceled because they're not looking to get Lamont Roach a replacement. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think. I've heard a lot back and forth already. I checked a couple YouTube channels, a couple sources, but I'm just coming back from the family's house, little Christmas, little party over there of Santa exchanging gifts and stuff for the kids and stuff. It's real good. And so, I was doing the family thing today in the holidays, so I didn't really have a lot of time to check everywhere or check with any of my sources about Tank Davis, Lamont Roach's situation. I heard a couple things out there and I was just like, I'll address that later. Just like the Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias situation, guys, right? Do we think that that's real? Do we really think? And they try to dress it up for you, right? They even gave you a fake imaginary date, March 15th. They don't got no venue and got nothing for it. They even throw a date on this one because with Jerron Boots Ennis and Teal, there was no date. No date with Terrence Crawford, right? And there were other fights, and Devin Haney rumored to fight Teal. He's been attaching himself to like every great fighter, but not fighting any of them. With this one, I noticed they even threw a date up to try to like keep, so look, I can't co-sign this. I definitely 100%. I don't give a fuck what Mike Carpenter said. Mike Carpenter has known to be wrong too. Although, I mean, a lot of us get our information from that dude first. He's been right a lot of times. But in this sport, things change so much that it's gonna make him look like he was wrong. Or, sometimes they have so many stories they're following. They hear one little thing from a pretty decent source and they throw it out in hopes that it sticks. And what happens when the guy pulls out and makes that reporter look bad? Then he gets some things. So I know who Mike Carpenter is, and I know the stories that he puts out. I've heard a lot of good things about the man. He gets criticism, and that's great. That's great. But I'm not gonna co-sign this fight until I see some contracts finalized, a venue scheduled, and it says on Box Rec, Teofimo Lopez versus Teofimo, you know what I'm saying? Versus Subriel Matias. Then I'll be like, okay, we got ourselves a fight. And then we'll go in into on breaking down that fight. You know, like I said, I called it, right? Why would I break down Teofimo Lopez with Jerron Boots Ennis, right? I would exhaust myself breaking down that fight with the Terrence Crawford. And I told you guys why I don't do this. You see why? I was right. I was right. I can see bullshit from a mile away. I told you guys about that other fight that wasn't going to happen either with Ortiz, because sometimes I could see some of these things, sometimes not, but I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I says, come on, T.O., man. You ain't fighting Brian Norman Jr. You're not fighting Jerron Boots Ennis. You're not fighting Terrence Crawford. You wasn't. I mean, I think they actually tried to fight Devin Haney, right? Because when Bill himself came and said he denied the offer. So that was legit. That was legit, I guess. From Tio and Top Rank and Uncle Bob did send him, and Bill Haney confirmed it. He confirmed it. So Tio's been busy, 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 busy. I guess he's at a position in his career where him and his father feel like, you know what, son, you better start fighting these big fights, because maybe Tank Davis is in a situation where that the fans are really sick of his bullshit. Maybe the fans spoke louder than words. He didn't see ticket sales moving. Like usually when Tank announces a fight, right? Like Naoya Inoue, like Terrence Crawford, when you announce them guys type guys fighting, their tickets usually sell out in a day sometimes, maybe 2 days, but that week the fight is sold out. Good luck on finding tickets for that fight, right? So that's kind of how they judge it. You know, um, Probably they announced ticket sales for like a week and they saw shit wasn't moving. And they probably alerted Javante Tank Davis is like, well, we said we were gonna give you this, but this fight is not selling. We're not gonna pay you this much money if you don't. I don't know what's going on in his world. I can only give you boxing situations. Like, these things have been known to occur. This has been known to occur. I don't know any of this stuff to be definitively. Like, I'm not saying that this is the reason why the Javante Davis's fight is canceled. No, I'm because of ticket sales. It's something that I can, I would, on the outside looking in, would be one of the reasons why they would pull out on a fight. when you got these promotional companies putting up this money, you know, I seen Jake Paul had to pull out on one of his fights one time. It just wasn't the fights weren't selling. So, it's a crapshoot sometimes with these boxing promoters. They put up all this money and they hope to generate revenue on fight night. So I don't know. I don't know what Javante plans on doing. What's up, guys? Let's talk about this. What's up? Tio versus Matias going to be a good fight, a good one. If we can get them in the ring, brother, if we can get them in the ring, wouldn't that be a great fight? Uh, Devin is a great. Oh yeah, the tickets are still on sale. Good, good, good. See, you see. So I'm gonna check out, of course, what you say, my man. Right? Who are you? Let me put that up right here. Uh, Maybe a little bit too much coquito. My eyes being bad, but I thought that said they never said his own fight with Lamont Roach was canceled. He just made a random statement. Fight canceled. What would you take from that though? A random statement. Fight canceled. Free promotion. Tickets still on sale. So if you go onto the website, you'll see that the ticket sales are still tickets on sale still. And how long ago did they announce these tickets going on sale for the Tank Davis fight? Typically, they're sold out in like a day or two. So, but the Barclays Center sold out like that. Remember when Tank Davis fought in that Barclays Center? He made like a $5 million gate. That house was packed, bro. Yeah, they could have went with the Garden on that one. Yeah, they could have, but they kept most of the bag. But you could have took that fight to the Garden, man. If you knew you were gonna do those kind of numbers, he could have packed the Garden, man. You never know, huh? Sometimes you leave money on the table in some of these big fights. So it's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. But look, I hope we get Tank Davis back in the ring. I don't want to be one of those kind of fans where that you ask the fan, who do you want to see Tank Davis fight? And they say, I don't care. Anybody. I don't care. And no, I don't want to be him. I want to keep uh, my fighter and hold them up to an account, you know, um, hold them to a status like, nah, you can't just keep fighting these luckluster fights and think that we're gonna just stamp your approval as the best fighter in the world, brother. No, at some point you're gonna have to prove that. You're gonna have to go out and prove it. So I don't want to be that fan where I don't question who he fights. Just the mere fact to watch him fight is good enough for me. No, I stopped being that fan. I realized that no, we have to pay attention. Although we could be a great fan, we could be a loyal, we need to tell our fighter, hey, bro, listen, I think it's time, because not only whether you want to fight for legacy, because I keep saying this, I keep judging Javante Tank Davis as a championship legacy fighter. He's not that. Ja- Javante Davis, what he is, he's a prize fighter. Javante Davis fights for money. He doesn't fight for legacy. He doesn't care about your belt. He doesn't want to go to the Hall of Fame. According to him, what he wants is the bag. That's all he cares about. He doesn't fight this guy. Why? He would have to pay him money. He would have to split more of his winnings by fighting a not so great fighter. He give him a little bit of money. Javante takes most of the money in the pay-per-view sales. He walks off into the sunset. That's always been Javante Davis. He's been saying this his entire career. And me as a fan, sometimes I have a tendency of attaching my vision onto his future. I'm not Javante Tank Davis. He is not I. I am not him. He has a different vision for his legacy, and he's gonna do Gervonta Tank Davis shit. And I need to recognize what kind of fighter he is. I keep wanting Gervonta to fight for the belts. He doesn't care about the belts. So my frustration comes from Gervonta not doing what I want him to do. When I need to view him for the fighter he is, the type of fighter he is. And maybe I would accept him more because I wouldn't expect a lot from him. If we get it, we get it. That's kind of Gervonta. He's too laid back in his career just thinking about money. So I can't really say that, Gervonta's ducking this dude. He ain't going after this belt. He didn't unify here. What's he doing? When he's been telling me his entire career, Gervonta's been telling me. I just haven't been listening. He's been saying it his entire. I don't care about belts. I don't care about your legacy. I don't care about what they say. Oh, yo, Devontae, when this, he said, I don't care about none of that shit. I want the money. And it seems like just until recently, I finally woke up and said to myself, you know what? I can't be mad at homeboy. He's been telling me his whole career, bro, what he is. I just been expecting or having my own vision onto him. So now that I know that what Gervonta Davis is, I accept him more. I accept him more. Because I know he's not going to fight this guy because he wants to unify all the belts. I know he ain't doing this nope, he ain't gonna do none of that shit. So it is what it is. He's just a great fighter. I wish he fought bigger, tougher guys. Maybe one of these guys take less money just to see if they could beat him. I don't know. I think one of these guys might have to do some Floyd shit to the Gervonta Tank Davis. Finally, just walk up on him and be like, "You want to pay me like an average Joe? Fine, pay me like an average Joe. I just want to get in the ring with you, and I want to knock your head through those ropes, Gervonta Davis." And one guy is going to walk up one day and call him on it because, see, Gervonta Davis made himself the type of star you don't need to cash in with him. By beating him alone, you'll cash out on your next fight. All the money you left on the table that Gervonta didn't give to you, by beating him, I guarantee you triple that in your next fight for being the man that defeated him. So they got to look at it as like a business move sometimes. The fighter, a tough fighter, they go in there and the first thing they're saying, you're Gervonta Davis. I want to get paid too, you know. But sometimes you got to take it as an opportunity. Yeah, you are Gervonta Davis. What you want to give me? $1 million? You're going to walk away with 30 million? Sure, why not? Where do I sign? I'll see you at the fight. You go in there and you whoop his ass. Shit. Gervonta Davis made people famous but from him whooping their ass. Esau Pitbull Cruz got famous off a loss. Ryan Garcia's stock went up off a loss. He knocked Rolly almost out the ring and made him famous. Imagine beating him. Your next fight, you'll get all that money, bro. So sometimes fighters gotta think strategy sometimes in maneuvering their careers, the when and the where. Sometimes it's a crapshoot. Shit, there's fighters that got 40 fights and never even fought for a world title. Undefeated too. No world title fights. Some people just don't get their opportunity or they didn't fight the right guy. They got 40 fights, but they kept fighting fights in between. They never made that jump to put them in position. They were just good enough winning. And they kind of stood there and kind of got forgotten. And sometimes when you turn down some of these fights, Promoters won't call you as much. It's nothing like giving a promoter a favor, though. Promoter's pulling his hair out. Ah, I'm in trouble. My guy pulled out. You stand, yo, need a fighter? I'll do you this favor, but you'll owe me. Yeah, 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 yeah. You got a guy that can make weight. He can he pass the physical? Not only do I got a guy, but I got a guy. Yo, so then you're in the good graces with some of them, and whether you win or lose the fight, they'll work with you again for saving the night, for saving all the money, for saving everybody that bought tickets and came out, everybody that traveled, bought hotels. They wanted to see one particular guy. That guy was still available. You saved the night. It's business decisions. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type shit. And you get in the good graces, and then you and your coach, yo, this dude is a good dude. He showed up to the fight, blah, blah, blah. You build your status. There's a lot of men that were given opportunities like that and made the most of it. You never know, you can go in there and pull an upset of sort. And shit, your stars can be changed forever. I thought Andy the Destroyer Ruiz, he would always had been in the heavyweight contingency slot after beating AJ. Although he lost the belt to AJ, he should have been right in there, right? And it seems like he faded away to obscurity. Like, I mean, not that he's broke or anything. It doesn't look like it. He keeps buying shit, right? Must have made a lot of money in that Anthony Joshua too, right? But it seems like money got the best of him. He's more concerned about getting tattoos from his back to his ass cheeks than he is about getting in the ring. He wants to get veneers and shit now, I see. So, look, fighters do extraordinary things, man. But the one thing about these fighters is that even when they're down, they could still turn it around. Long as you're still in the game. If you didn't do anything crazy enough to land yourself in jail, death, then you're still in the game. You got to get yourself together and your shit together. To all these fighters, there isn't a fighter out there, that couldn't use support from their fans, you know, giving them a good message. You never know what they're going through in their lives and shit. And being, yo, champ, keep going forward. Can't wait to see you next time type shit. It can motivate a person, and people like to hear that. I was talking to my nephew today, and we were talking about the Travis Hunt situation with his girl. And, my nephew, he's young, and he's all into the social media, and he's eating it. He's eating everything they putting out, right? I'm sitting back and I'm looking at him, and he's like, yo, this girl did this girl did that. And the only thing I said to him was that I was like, wow, that's amazing, right? Because I know who Hunt is. He's the Heisman winner trophy. The reason why I know that because the award ceremony and all the bright lights and cameras and flashing bulbs and everything that's on him, that and all the articles that were written on him, he's becoming a star. His hard work paid off. I don't even watch college football, but I know that he played corner and receiver. And he's one of the only athletes to ever get the Heisman like that. I know all of that because of the hard work he did. Right? Who the hell is that girl? The problem is, I told my nephew, she actually thinks they're equal. She actually thinks she's on his level. When that's probably like what these guys said. His first girlfriend, he's just a kid in love, you know what I'm saying? But the way that girl was talking about young boy, like he was just a young kid in high school, dropping her off at a college party. She would party come out, and he was just sticking around because he was waiting for his moment to clap the cheeks, and he finally did. And you know how that is when can be when your first little girl that laid you, you know what I mean? She's like the best thing since sliced bread, you know what I mean? And she ain't saying no. So you dipping off with her, right? So I could see that the young man's in love, but I told my nephew, I was like, the funny thing is, she actually thinks they're equal. I know of him because of his success, the things he did. What has is she a basketball player? Does she play hockey? Does she race cars? Is she has she had any awards in anything? Has she accomplished like anything? And then my nephew said she got like 600 followers. I said 600 strangers, 600,000 strangers, 700K she has. They're all strangers. They're not on the same level. If he was to break up with her tomorrow, what would she have to do to get her status up? Could she do it by herself? Or would she have to date another athlete? Nah. I mean, at least Kim Kardashian, she was never like, she ain't never won nothing. Just beauty. Just beauty in a video. And a bunch of freaking pervs clicking yes. Right? This chick ain't never dribbled the ball in her life. Ain't never threw a pass. Kim Kardashian. Millions. Straight million. Just beauty. What skills does Kim Kardashian have? What can she do? And I mean, just name anything. Is she good at combing hair? Any skill, any hidden talent. Her only skill is her beauty. Right? I'm looking at the kid. I'm looking at him. I'm like, do you realize who you are? Young man, yeah, you haven't realized who you are yet. You don't know your value, right? Uh, I'm not dissing anybody, but if all these videos and things that I'm watching from this girl, the way Deion Sanders had to pick her up at the Heisman, like, yo, get up. Like, she didn't know to get up, like she wasn't in the that means she's not for you. She's not about what you're doing. She's not a real football wife. She's only with you because you got a spotlight. She's, you know what I'm saying? A football wife, a real football wife. She's if you ask your football wife you about you, she could recite your stats. Oh, he did this. That's a football wife. Oh, she knows you're gonna go to training. She's got to lock it down. She's married to you because she's um supporting your future, your life. She's backing you up. She loves what you do and she believes in you. That's a football wife. I bet you asked that girl what were the numbers on Travis's last game. She couldn't tell you. I guarantee it. She couldn't tell you the numbers he put up in his last game. Fact. I know. I guarantee you. Listen. So I'm like sitting there, like I'm watching it, and I'm just like, maybe this young man, hopefully he wakes up before he puts any kids in her. 'Cause you don't want to do that. Uh, you know, he'll experience life. That's all I can say about it. That's all I can say. Yeah. You know what I mean? We listen. I can't blame the young man at that age. Hell no, I was making poor decisions. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, just bad decisions, man. So there's no way I'm gonna sit here and say, "Oh shit, this dude's a dumbass." No, man, my man's going through life. He's going through his journey. And we wish we could like take the people and be like, wake up, like this is gonna happen. But we all gotta experience it. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to go through it. However it happens, whatever happens, I don't know, you know. But for a girl to get on social media and rock you like that out of her own mouth, I thought that was real. Like, I was like, she was like, he's not my type. I was like, ooh, she's blatantly telling you she don't fuck with you, but she's with you because you're a star, kid. You are a star. Wherever you go, she goes. The more you get famous, the more she like it. Sometimes, like wives gotta those football wives, you never see them. They take the step back. They're allowing their man to have their moment. Shit, they're the ones in the gym busting their ass week in, wake out, catching these passes, bandaging up their knees, taping their fingers. And whenever a microphone or an award is present, they slide to the side and they're just staring at their husband and like awe and then like they're proud of him. That's real support. That's real love from your significant other and at least get that much from them. No one's perfect. Like there's not a fantasy just because she's a foot she could be wrong in other avenues, but I'm not speaking of all that. I'm just speaking about girls and that I've seen that are with athletes that are really about and they're for them. They're about them. When you're in a relationship and you're the last person to realize she was never for you. She might have rocked with you for whatever reason, but she was never for you. When she's getting dressed up like this to look like this, she's not, looking, because women love to feel themselves and be sexy, and that's okay. And you out there in a bra with a fucking thong showing through your panties, you're just advertising for someone to come and tell you that you look good in them jeans. It's pretty much advertisement. You're you're pretty much getting dudes that like to spit game. They gon' kick it. A man's gonna be a man. So I mean, I'm not saying that that makes her a hoe. No, she can like attention. There's attention seeker girls in this world that shoot down every guy that walk up to them. They know they bad, but they got a man and they don't play that shit. Yeah, those girls are out there all day. You know what I'm saying? I see them all the time. They bad as they look down at the ground like that. They don't give you the type of ear. None of that. Them type of girls are focused. I'm not talking about them chicks. I'm talking about one particular girl, her, the way she's doing it. And I was talking about one particular girl, that girl. That's it. Other women, we are who we are. There's shitbag men, there's shitbag women. Take your pick, man. There's no side that's really honest, is there? Right? You just, try to do this. So, like, a lot of relationship shit I've noticed went on in boxing. I was like, yo, what is this? And then the Travis shit, I was like, yo. So it kind of took me for a loop a little bit. I was like, man, listen. But back to boxing, bro. That's what Devin got to do. You know what I'm saying? Just get back to boxing, bro. Yeah. It fucking sucks to see him go through this because man, look, I think damn, man. Devin Haney, man. He should have went that Sandal Martin way. He should have went to Sandal Martin. And I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Is it too late for Devin Haney? Is he still the champion in recess for the WBC? Or they officially stripped him? Let me see this. Hold on. I forgot to check on that. Let me check on it right now. I can do that in fact right now. Let me see. Did they officially strip him? Where is he as far as status with the organization, so forth, so forth. That like that. Like where is he? Okay, damn, I gotta go down more. Here we go, right here. 140. So View profile. Let's view Devin Haney's profile. Let's see what Box Live says about Devin Haney. Da 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 da. 26 years old. Oh, he's 26, huh? Ain't getting no younger, son. What is Devin Haney's records? Current records, 31. I know all of that. Okay, hold on. Let me go to Box Rec, I guess. I'm just gonna shoot over to Box Rec real quick. Cause I gotta know. Cause I always felt like, right, if he would have fought just Sandro Martin and not allowed not allowed them to fight for the belt, but since that fight never materialized, and we all know what Jose Valenzuela and Gary Antoine Russell are gonna be shooting it back. So Gary Antoine Russell is not waiting in the wing for the winner out of the WBC. Apparently, he saw something stalling out there where that he saw another opportunity at a world championship and he took it, which I believe is a great fight too in itself. Now that fight right there, that's going to be on the Arthur Benavidez and Demetrius Bivol fight. It's going to be on the undercard, somewhere on that undercard, the Jose Valenzuela card. So there's a lot of big fights on that card, and then we got the Ortiz fight there. So that's going to be a big card right there, and that they're going to be running that back. Um, so where does Devin Haney lie in his future? I thought he should have fought Sandro Martin just to keep the WBC World Championship. Beat Sandro Martin, which was a fighter that fought Teofimo Lopez. You beat him impressively, right? Um, and you retain your world championship. I thought that was a good path. Not sure why they didn't take that path. Or why didn't Bill Haney want to take the Teo fight? I think I think the fight itself would have been big. The two names, Teo and Devin, but the risk for putting your fighter in the ring so soon off that kind of fight or debacle with Ryan Garcia, Teo's a tough fighter, guys. You guys might get opinions like people might take what he says, the dumb shit that comes out of Teo's mouth. Yeah, I I'm fucking sick of his mouth, right? But that's his mouth is not what's boxing in the gym, in the ring. And I got to admit, Teal's a crafty little fighter there. For a little while, I've criticized him. You guys know me if you've been with me or here around One Sports Talk. You know that I've criticized Teal because it doesn't seem like his fighting style has evolved. It seems like he's staying in shape. He knows how to fight and he picks his shots, but his power hasn't really transitioned so much like it was at the 130. So Teo's starting to try to up his fighting game. He's going over there with Ari Reynoso and Saul Canelo Alvarez and them, and he's gonna try to develop him he doesn't have to change Teo as a fighter. That's the good thing. You just got Teofimo Lopez to walk through your front door. That's a great fucking start right there as a coach. You don't gotta change him. You gotta tighten stuff up and teach them and plan boxing situations. How to manage a fight like Saul. The when and the where. Eddie Reynoso can teach that to Teo, and Teo's not far off from being a great, great fighter. If he can put it together, I think Teo's feeling good about himself. He feels like he's in a good gym now. Now Teo's real boisterous all of a sudden. He wants to fight everybody. You, you, you. And I'm like, this is not Teo. This got to be some cloud chasing. But it seems like he really did send an offer to Devin Haney. And if this Sabria Matias shit holds up, I'm going to remind Teo, of course. Because here at Round One Sports Talk, we don't let shit slide. All right. And I mean the minute that is official, I'm going to tell you what I feel. And I'm going to tell you what I remember. And then we're going to talk about that fight with Subriel and Tio. We're going to break that down. Let me read up on some of y'all messages here. Pound for Pound say many things nowadays, but we don't have. Yeah. You know, it it's not even about an easy way for Tank Davis to get belts because there was a definitely 100% easy way to get those belts. Let's just remember. Let's just all remember. Once upon a time, Tank Davis could have fought for those belts. Remember when Teofimo Lopez lost to George Camboza? Where was Tank Davis? They said that Devin Haney was his mandatory. That was bullshit. How can a champion be a mandatory to another champion? The sanctioning bodies can order a fight. They could say that they're by ordering it, they're saying they're with it. That if you two decide to fight, you got our blessing. That's what that says. But the WBC cannot order you to fight the IBF champion. What the fuck does the IBF got to do with the WBC? The IBF got their own ranking. So doesn't the WBC. So doesn't the WBA. So where is it he was forced to fight Devin Haney? Like George Camboza was saying. It's a lie. And when you're already a champion, you can't enter any ranking system. Like the WBC world champion can't go into the IBF ranking, wait in line, and challenge the champion. You're already a champion. You're taking off all the rankings. You already represent whatever belt you won. So in that moment in time, where was Tank? Why didn't he fight George Camboza? When he was a bigger star, making more money at that time than Tank. The money alone, George would have took that fight with him. Shit, it was rumored that he made $10 million off of Devin Haney. How much would he have made with Tank? Where was Tank? Where was Tank, right? When Devin Haney vacated all the belts. He had the regular WBA championship, and it seemed like when he vacated all the belts, they were vacated throughout the division. Why didn't he shoot for one of the belts? He would have had two. Who would he have to have fight? Who got, as a matter of fact, who got Devin Haney's belts today? Lomachenko. How the fuck did Lomachenko beat Tank Davis to that IBF? Fighting George Camboza for the vacant IBF title. Really? How did Shakur beat him to the vacant WBC World Championship when Devin Haney vacated the belts? Huh? What were you doing? There was nobody, bro. Gervonta Tank Davis could have fought George Camboza for the vacant IBF championship of the world. And if Loma beat him to that belt, why didn't Tank race to the WBC and show his interest and roll into their ranking system and pay the sanctioning fees? Because Tank don't want to pay no sanctioning fees to no organization. In Tank's mind, it feels like they robbing him by charging them sanctioning fees to compete for their belt. So he decided he needs a belt. It's part of his success. You know, and he got one belt, so he's already viewed as a champion. He got that box checked. You don't need any other belt. All you got to do, continue knocking guys out in your ranking, get your bag, and walk out of the sport. He's not a prize fighter. I mean, he's not a championship fighter. He's a prize fighter. He's just getting the bag. So I was like thinking about that a while ago, and I was saying, nah, there wasn't the fact that there was a bunch of killers there that Tank was afraid to go through a gauntlet where that there was these serious fighters that were in his way, and it was high risk to, to reach out and go for these belts. No, there wasn't a man in that division I thought could beat Tank, including Shakur Stevenson. Just entering that division. He was moving up in weight at the time. Now I'm talking about the time when Devin Haney finally went to fight Regis Progress at 140, and he vacated the remaining of the belts. They scattered throughout the division. You mean to tell me you don't think for 1 second none of these organizations ever thought of calling Calvin Ford and Gervonta Tank Davis and saying, hey, are you interested in fighting for our belt? You mean, and he says yes, you would get Tank Davis to get that belt around his waist. Now your organization is promoted by Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm pretty sure he was the biggest star, and he still is. I'm pretty sure the biggest star of the division got a phone call. They probably offered him to him first. What was he doing? Why doesn't he have the belts? Why didn't he go after the belts? Why did Loma end up with that fucking belt? Why did Shakur end up with that belt? Remember, before Devin left, he offered Shakur a chance to fight for all 4 belts. Shakur turned him down twice, fought Loma, went up to fight Regis Progress, vacated the belts. Where's Tank? See, I can't. When I bring everything up, I have to bring up all factors. And I got to bring up the time frame. And when I go to look back, I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. So that's what led me to believe and to finally open my eyes and my perspective, my perception of how I view Tank Davis. I no longer view him as like a championship quality legacy type fighter. No, I believe he got the belt he needed to get. And I think he's just going after the money, bro. He's a prize fighter. That's what he is. He's a very good, strong prize fighter. I would love to see him there to do better for his career, but unfortunately, I gave up on that. And I said to myself, man, that's just me wanting him to do that shit. I'm not Tank Davis. He is. He's gonna do what he feels is best for his career. I There's nothing I can say or do about it, to tell you the truth. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. So if this fight is not off, that's a good thing though, right? Hopefully we get to see Tank Davis in there. And guys, don't sleep on Roach. Don't. Any man that is given an opportunity to change his stars on a world stage like this can be dangerous. Gervonta Davis might be the more superior of the fighter, the harder of the puncher, the bigger of the fighter, all that. He might have all that. I hope he stays the course and stays focused because you never know what a man's, there's no measuring stick for a man's heart and how far he's willing to go to achieve his dream. You want to sleep on Lamont Roach, you can. What's supposed to happen, Gervonta's supposed to knock him out like he knocked everybody else out. I think Lamont Roach is not bigger than Mario Barrio. And I think Gervonta Dink Davis has already gotten in the ring with guys that are slicker, harder punchers, and more of a puzzle to solve. Although Lamont Roach is very athletic, he's getting better as the fights are going. Yes, they do share, I believe, amateur fights, Lamont Roach and Tank Davis, so they're familiar with one another. Maybe at an amateur level, but still familiar with each other. So, you know, um, let's see what happens. I'm gonna do more digging on that, but like I said, I just want to get on and talk a little boxing today. Um, my wife makes me turn off my phone. In fact, it is actually off, right? Still, because she won't let me watch boxing because I gotta pay attention to what's going on in the family because I get a little crazy sometimes with the boxing. So I just wanted to come on and just basically talk today and wish you guys a merry Christmas out there. Um, you know, and I hope to see you guys. I'm not sure when the next fight is. Probably not going on Christmas or something. Perhaps the next day, and we'll go on and we'll kick it then, guys. Lionheart, my man in the building. Lionheart's been with us for quite some time. My man, how you doing, brother? I really want Tank to retire. It's good for the sport because he's such a headache and a diva right now. Right? Is that what you're thinking? That he's such a distraction for everybody else or something, or maybe you don't want to see him lose. You want to see him retire before the inevitable happens, right? I don't know how you're viewing it. I'm Lionheart. But um, look, sometimes some of these guys go through real fucking, as you can see with Devin Haney, right? Tough times in their career. Some of them have the opportunity to turn it all around. I keep my fingers crossed for Tank, man. Maybe he could turn it around. Maybe he can get more better respect from some of these fighters that, they're in the sport and these fighters fight to see who the best fighter is. I'm not sure if that was my mistake for viewing Tank like that. I'm starting to see him in a different set of lights, eyes, and I'm just realizing like, I see what you are, bro. You know, shame on me for taking this long to figure it out. I kept pushing because he's good. He's fucking great, man. And I thought he was gonna be one of the special ones to do it. Multiple world division champion, et cetera type shit. Nah, guess not. And maybe he's mad at the sport. Who knows? Maybe Tank is mad at the sport. We never asked him, right? What if Tank is pissed off because he found out he's really not a three division world champion and that those regular belts that they had him fight for won't count? And he got a rude awakening from boxing playing that bullshit with the belts. What if Tank Davis is hurt because he feels like he wasted his time, running up those divisions real fast, fighting Mario Barrio, winning a belt at 135, 130. Well, come to find out, until he fought Frank the Ghost Markin for Devin Haney's vacated 135 WBC World Championship, until he went in the ring with Frank Davis, knocked him out to complete the ritual as champion, he just became a two division world champion in his last fight, Gervonta Dink Davis. Had he retired before that Frank the Ghost Martin fight, he only has one division, the 130. He might have had two belts there. He lost one and then won the IBF, but it's still only one division. So if he would have retired without unifying that with Frank the Ghost Martin, and then that one with Mario Barrios, a record, it's a secondary belt, regular. Um, it doesn't count. So maybe Tank Davis got the rude awakening, like a lot of these fighters. They're like, yo, I got 4 interim belts. I'm a 4-time champion. They're like, no, you're not. You're not even a 1-time champion. That could be crushing. What do you mean I don't got 1 belt? No, technically you got 4 regular belts. But you guys told me that was a world championship, and I paid sanctioning fees to that. Yeah, I know, because it is a world champion. It's a piece of a world championship belt. You should have read the fine print, young man. But in actuality, unfortunately, you don't have any belts. Yo, that could be fucking, so I don't know what way he's taking it, but Javante now, another fighter. I never been in an era with a bunch of tough fighters that all want to threaten to quit. A bunch of quitters. Devin Haney, I'm going to retire. Tank, I want to retire. Ryan Garcia, I want to retire. Big Baby Anderson, I want to retire. All these fighters threatening to retire. Loma, I'm going to retire. I never been in an era in a combat sport where this many great fighters were mentally weak like this. Shakur Stevenson said he wanted to retire when he didn't get that shot against Navarrete with the WBC just before his last fight. Remember that? I'm retiring. I don't need boxing no more. I never saw so many talented fighters in my life simultaneously in the same era. They're all mentally checking out. And they're tough guys. These dudes can fight. These dudes are already talking about retirement. It's insane, brother. It really is. He led so many, Lionheart, so many good fights, brother. So much money on the table. He just didn't want to pay them. Tank didn't want to pay them. If he was to fight Devin Haney, he would have to pay Devin Haney. You got to understand that. He would have to split some money with him. Tank fought all these guys. He paid them peanuts. He kept the money from the gay, kept everything. Tank kept all the pay-per-view money. He didn't share shit. The only person he shared with was Ryan, and he actually beat Ryan in that fight. And I don't mean beat him by victory. I mean beat him by money. Yo, Ryan got suckered in that fight against Tank. Ryan took the fight because he knew if he could beat Tank, that's why Ryan was daring to be great. Although Ryan did a lot of fuckboy shit and said a lot of dumb shit and the PE scandal, I gotta admit, he dared to be great a lot, didn't he? He fought Tank. He fought fucking Devin. Yeah, Ryan Garcia. He went after those guys. They didn't go after him. He went and said, no, I want to fight you. He initiated the fight. So I can't say that about Tank and I can't say that about Devin. Well, Devin did fight Loma, a much smaller guy, a true 130 pounder. He went in there and beat on a 130 pounder, and Tank was like a 140. Devin was like a 140, 147 fighter, naturally fighting little ass Loma. But Loma got a name for himself. Loma's a 2-time gold medalist. So, you know, that's a big name. Might be his only big name, but you're not gonna have a career with massive names. There's some guys that did. I can't lie. There's some guys that did, but you don't got that many big names. But at 135, if all the Tank Davises, the Lomas, the Ryans, all them guys would have fought, there's your names right there. Win, lose, or draw. If you guys would have all fought back then or now like that, Tank Davis could have had this could have been Tank Davis's resume. Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, um, who am I missing? Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. Who am I missing? Shakur Stevenson. Those five. Just those five names on your resume, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. And I'll take Ryan Garcia. That's what his resume should look like. Tank Davis's resume. That's what it should look like. But instead, it looks like fucking Leo Santa Cruz and Uriel Gamboa and Frank the Ghost Martin. And that's what Tank got. Yeah. Oh, that looks good. So fight fans, I just wanted to hop on a little bit. Let me uh finish tidying up my Christmas here. Lion Hearts, everybody that joined, James, everybody, Legacy, Carlos, all of you in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for uh stopping by and talking boxing. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas out there. I hope you enjoy your holidays. Stay safe. Keep your loved ones close. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Love yourselves and a Merry Christmas.